Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon, grade 8 to grade 9 students. Welcome back. I heard from teacher Wen-Ting that last week we did not finish our comprehension, so we shall continue from there. Then we will move on to today's lesson. Okay, let me just see who are the students today. We have Tarushi, Buhyumi, Suwani. Okay, good to have your back. Sashi, Ajantha, is that how I say your name? Vandama, okay, and okay, oh, Ruwangi is staying on. Okay, so let's continue. Last week, this was the passage that you have read. It's all about the fairy's wheel. Okay, I know that you have gone through 2 questions, but I heard also that the 2 questions were a little bit difficult. I would like to just read the passage again because I am not sure whether all of you were here last week. So to be fair, I think it's good to at least read it once. Since we are, maybe some of you would have been here last week. Is there any volunteer who would like to read the first paragraph for us? You can unmute, say your name, and then we will know you are volunteering. You are, wanting to do the reading for us, reading aloud for us. Is there a volunteer?
May I?
Yes, Ruwangi. I'll be glad for you to read it. Once you are ready, you may begin.
Everyone has a favorite attraction at an amusement park, and I am on different. However, unlike most people who seem to prefer roller coasters, my favorite rider is a little more gentle. Every time I go to Sunny Island, Navy Pier, or the Santa Monica Pier, absolutely have to ride the Ferris wheel.
Very good. Thank you, Ruwangi. That was very good reading. You read most of the word accurately. I would just like to repeat some of the words. Maybe you are really there, but probably not very clear. So for everyone's learning purpose, I will repeat some of the words. So for example, this word says amusement. Okay, but I think you did well. Okay, amusement park. Amuse itself means to laugh, or something is very funny, amusing. All right. So an amusement park is going to be a park that's going to make people be happy. Okay. So as you read the passage, I believe all of you understands that this looks like, like a fun fair, like a place whereby they have many kind of rides. Okay, they call it attraction. Everyone has a favorite attraction. So attraction means at the park, maybe there are different parts, there are different things. Okay, different attraction at the park. And they say here most people seems to prefer roller coaster. My favorite ride, it's a little more gentle. Okay, very good. So this tells you that unlike, you see the word unlike give us some clues when we read the whole sentence. Unlike most people who seems to prefer roller coasters, my favorite ride is a little more gentle. So since they use the word unlike, it actually means that roller coaster is like the opposite of being gentle. So roller coaster is not a gentle ride. Okay. Every time I go to, then we have three. You see here, they are like names because they have capital letter. So even if you don't know these places, it's okay. You just need to understand that, hey, this is like a place, a second place, and a third place. Horny Island, Navy Pier, Santa Monica Pier. So this author, the author I said that every time he or she go to these three places, he or she absolutely, that means must ride the Ferris wheel. And I believe last week you have seen a picture of Ferris wheel. Okay? All right, very good. Thank you, Ruwangi, for your attempt to read the passage very accurately. Let's have another volunteer, someone else to read second paragraph for us.
Ma'am, may I?
Yes, Tarushi, thank you. You may begin.
The Ferris wheel is simple yet complex. That is riding. It is easy, but how it works is complicated. A series of cards are attached to a wheel, which is attached to a rim. That rim rotates vertically around an axis, and gravity keeps the cards upright. As simple as the ride seems, only advanced engineers can make safe and fun Ferris wheels.
Thank you, Tarushi. Okay, again, quite an accurate reading. Most of the words you have read accurately. Okay, with quite a lot of confidence. Over here, I think you have read it well. But some parts I understand that you may not know where to pause, where to chunk your reading. These few words are very simple, but just now you slow down a little. Maybe I would like to just reread it for you and for all to hear it. Okay? So when there's a comma, we can pause. And the rest of the words, we can actually read it. Let's see how it sounds like for understanding. Okay? The Ferris wheel is simple yet complex. That is, riding it is easy. So to sit on the ferry wheels, to ride on it is very easy. But how it works is complicated. So the machine itself, okay, the whole Ferris wheel, how it works is complicated. All right. Okay, it's just that line. Other than that, I think you read most of the words accurately. Some of the parts I know are very technical. Technical meaning you need to know the meaning of vertical. All right. Um, I hope you understand what is vertical. If I were to draw a line, okay, if I were to show you using lines, I'm not sure why I couldn't draw. Let me just try again. Okay, give me a minute. Let me find another way to draw it. Okay, here's the pen. So vertical means like this, up and down. Up and down is vertical. It is the opposite of horizontal. I wonder if in your other subject you have a horizontal. In your other subject, did you come across these words already? So horizontal means like this. Okay, so vertical means up, down. Horizontal means across, left, right. But I guess after you all see the picture, it helps you to imagine how it looks like. So we have the very first question. The answer has been shown, but I guess it's all right. It asks, what does the word attraction means? So when you are trying to find this word, one way is to replace all these options. So for example, you can actually put in the word sense. Oh, sorry. You put in the word sense and you see whether it makes sense. Everyone has a favorite sense at the amusement park. Or you say everyone has a favorite park at the amusement park. Right? It didn't seem to make sense if you were to put in option A, B, and D. So it means that the best answer is C. Okay? Everyone has a favorite attraction, a favorite ride at the amusement park. And somewhere down the passage, you will see that actually they mention it too. All right? Okay, where's my annotating? It actually mentioned that my favorite ride. Okay, so this is the attraction. And, oh, sorry, it didn't work. My pen didn't work well. Sorry. So this is the attraction and my favorite ride. So one skills that you need will be probably to read on, okay, to find out more. Okay, question 2. Let me just clear all of this. Okay, the second question says, it could be understood that the Coney Island, the Navy Pier, and the Santa Monica Pier are all examples of, so they say every time, okay, if you start from this line, every time I go to. So this tells you that this tree looks like it is a place, right? It is a place. And in the first sentence, they say everyone has a favorite attraction at a park, at an amusement park. Okay, so this tells you that these three places are actually the park. Okay, are the amusement park. Okay, and therefore we have our second answer being, give me a minute. I'm not too sure why the clicking is a bit difficult today. So therefore, these three places are the amusement park. All right, let's carry on with question 3. Okay, I know this is where you stop. Question 3 asks, as mentioned in paragraph 2, that means this part, which is the best antonym for complex? Yes, okay, that was very fast. Can I just check what is the meaning of antonym first? What's the meaning? Just now somebody answered, right? Can you tell us the meaning of antonym first for all your friends here? Was it Tarushi who answered it? Tarushi, what's the meaning of antonym? Or Van, you would like to share your answer? Vandama, what's the meaning of antonym?
Antonym is the it's not equal.
Yes, it's not equal. Very good. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Or we can actually call it
Opposite.
opposite. Yes. Very
Opposite.
good. Very good. Because I think you, in your curriculum, you all must know antonym and synonym, right? So you all must recognize these words. Yeah. So it says opposite. And I like that you all have gotten the answer. Just now, someone already shouted the answer. You say simple yet complex. Yet has been taught before a few weeks ago for your conjunction. Yet is a bit like but. Okay, it's a little bit like opposite. So they say the Ferris wheel is simple yet complex. So you're right. Whoever who answered it just now, good job. Okay, it means that it is simple. Very good. Okay, the opposite is simple. Okay, opposite of complex is simple. Good job. Let's go on to question 4. Okay, but let me clear the drawing first. Oops. But I accidentally showed the answer. Oh, we will still like student to read it first. I think I would like to hear you read the third, fourth, and fifth paragraph. Let's have somebody to read this first part. How about we get to Vandama? Would you like to read this on this page, the first paragraph for us? Come. While the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Mm.
While the Ferris wheels is not as thrilling as a roller coaster, it's still very exciting. The fact of being high in the air makes it so much more entertaining than a lot of rides. I mean, how often do you hang from that high up in daily life?
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Vandama. Let's get the next student. Is there anyone else who would like to read?
May I, ma'am?
Yes, Sashi. Nevertheless, you start.
Nevertheless, I have to admit I don't seek Paris wheels out because of their
Excitement.
excitement. Rather,
Very
I find them very relaxing. At the top of the Ferris wheel, you get beautiful sights of the park. You also get a sense of calm that you don't get in the hustle and bustle of the park below.
Thank you, Sashi. That was good reading too. And last paragraph, a very short, maybe 2 or 3 lines. Yes, please.
Additionally, Ferris wheels are also gorgeous to look at when they are lit up at night. In fact, the original Ferris wheel was designed as much to be
Okay. I think Tarushi, you got cut off by muting. There's some words. Okay, you read it well. This part is, I thought I heard actually, pardon me if I'm wrong, but this says additionally. Okay, additionally, Ferris wheel are gorgeous. Okay, this word says gorgeous. Gorgeous means beautiful. It's very beautiful to look at. Okay, and they say, in fact, when they first made the original Ferris wheel was designed as much to be seen. So the architect or the person, the engineer who builds it, wants it to be like a feature to be seen as much as to be ridden on. That means it's not just to take a ride, but actually just to look at it will make people go like, wow, it's like so maybe so big and so nice. Okay, all right. So what does the author like best about Ferris wheel? So if you have read this 3 paragraph and understood it, I think just now the answer was shown. I'm just going to review it. It says that it is to see the beautiful sight, and also it's actually very relaxing. Okay, it's the beautiful sights and relaxation that they allow. Okay, let's go to the next page. Question number 5. So we have quite a long paragraph here. Is there a volunteer who would like to reread this for us? I know you have read it last week. Some other student, give others a chance. Who has not tried out today? Yes, Buhyumi. Why don't you start on that, Buhyumi?
The first Ferris wheel was made by and named after George Washington Gale
Gil
Ferris
Junior.
Jr.
Mhm.
He designed it for the Chicago World's Fair in 1893.
Very
It
good.
was the tallest attraction there, standing 264 feet high.
Mhm.
However, visitors to the fair were impressed by the size of the ride as well as the mechanics of it.
Mhm.
In 1893, anything that was not turned by hand was considered sight to see, and the wheel, which was a machine, was truly incredible to see. Further, and as one visitor put it, the wheel was amazing because it seemed to be missing support. That is, it did not look like it could stand on its own, and yet it did and even rotated.
Thank you, Buhyumi. That was also a very good and accurate reading. You read most of the words accurately. Um, I think over this few lines, there are quite a lot of things to understand, all right? Even though the question can be quite simple. I wonder if you all went through it. For example, it's mentioned that, of course, it's related to the question at the bottom. According to the passage, the ferry wheels was originally designed for, so it was quite easy, quite simple to
The
find the
World
answer. The first one, designed for Coney Island. Are you sure?
The World Fair.
Yes,
the
it's
World
supposed to be the World Fair, right? It's designed for the World Fair. But I would like to continue. So very good answer there. This is quite direct, okay? We call it the literal question. Very direct. You can find the answer. But I want to move on and check. Do you understand what it meant? So can you tell me what was so impressive for the Ferris wheel back then? Who can answer it just verbally? Why do people find it like so amazing or so incredible? Why? Can you use your own word to tell me? Any volunteer? Give it a try. Why do
the
people?
size of the ride.
Okay, one could be the size. I would think so because they mentioned that, hey, it looks so big, right? Okay, well done. So that could be one. One could be the size. They were impressed by the size. So they say back then, it's the tallest. Okay, and back in those time, that is considered like a very um maybe impressive because it looks so big, right? One more. Other than its size, what else?
Also of it, mechanics.
Mechanics. What do you mean by that, Suwani? Can you say a little bit more? I think you can find the answer here also. You should be able to mention it. What's about the mechanic that make it look so amazing? They mention it seems to be
Be like a missing support.
yes, you are right. So you see, it seems. Seems means it's like, okay? Seems to be means it's like it is missing support. That means something is missing, like there's nothing to hold the machine, and yet it could stand on its own and even move on its own. All right. So for people back then, they find that, hey, that's really amazing. All right. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, let me just close away that. Let me remove my pointer. All right. Question 6. Okay. We have read this part, but I will just read the second part of it. Okay. Okay, and we have already read this. Okay, we have already read this. It's just that the passage I re-changed the size of the passage. So question 6 says this passage was most likely written to? Why do you think they write this passage? So that means after we have read it, why do you think it was mentioned? A, describe the author's favorite amusement park ride. B, explain the original design of Ferris wheels and how they work today. C, describe the history of Ferris wheel and why they are so popular. D, explain the history of Ferris wheel and why the author likes them. So far, which of this has been mentioned by what we have read? Anyone who would like to try it? Your answer?
Ma'am, C.
See, Sashi would like to try. Describe the history. Okay, it says description of the history. Did they actually say why it was so popular? Or is it more of any others who would like to try other than Sashi, who thinks that could it be C? Is it due to the history and why they are popular? Did it actually mention that it was popular? What do y'all think? Okay, let's take a look at the answer, okay? Yeah, I would think actually so far, they didn't say that Ferris wheel is a very popular ride, right? But actually it only mentions the author likes it. So for example, the author says that he or she doesn't like, rides like roller coaster. Okay, he or she actually quite like the Ferris wheel. So far, that is what we have read. Okay, so got to be very careful on that. But I think it's all right. At least you mentioned the first part is correct. They talk about the history so far. They mentioned the history. However, they did not mention popularity. They only mentioned the author likes it. Okay, the author likes it. Last question. Last question, they say use the information in the passage. Readers can understand that the tallest Ferris wheel in the world is. So I think here we added I added one piece of information so that you can look back. Can I have one student to volunteer to read the last part? This part, last paragraph. Ferris wheel technology. Any volunteer?
May I?
Yes, Suwani, help us to read, please.
Ferris wheel technology has only improved since then. Most of today's Ferris wheels are much larger than that first one. The largest in the world is the Singapore Flyer, which stands slightly taller than twice what Ferris did.
Thank you. So this Ferris must be the original. The one is so I took the passage out, then you can refer back to the passage. The first one, right? Done by George Washington Gill Ferris Jr. So he was the first person who designed it. Back then, it was a certain height. So can I get any volunteer? Maybe you must do some simple calculation. What does it says here? It says now, in my country, based on when this article was written, I don't know now whether another country has even a higher one. But at the moment whereby this passage is written, Singapore Flyer stands slightly taller than twice what Ferris did. So what's the best answer for number 7? Right now, the tallest Ferris wheel will be around. Who has the answer already? You did your simple calculation and could tell us?
Yes, see.
Yeah,
Yes.
see, maybe you saw it, but a simple calculation,
It
yeah.
can calculate.
Yes, can calculate, right? Because we take, sorry. Yeah, we can calculate. Yeah, you can tell us, you can just tell us the working. It's just take your 200 and It's around there, right? Around 264. Twice means 2 times, right? So of
Right.
course we know we can
Hi.
calculate it. Very good. Thank you. Okay. So sometimes some question may need you to think a little bit further, understands the word twice. Twice means 2 times, and then you can have your answer there. Okay, good, great, very good. So we have finished the comprehension passage from last week. I hope you have enjoyed the passage we selected for you. Okay, so now we're going to carry on with today's lesson. Okay, so today's lesson is on active passive voice. Okay, let me just show the slideshow. Okay, let me see whether this works now. Okay, I think this should be okay. All right, active passive voice. Why is it important? So here I got 2 sentences. I'm going to read it for you. I ate. I was eaten. Okay, do you see these 2 sentences? It's like there's a difference, right? I ate. I was eaten. Well, so this is what we are going to work on today. We are going to talk about this thing called active voice and passive voice. Okay, that's what we're going to learn today. Just now in these 2 sentences, if I were to go back, a quick introduction to it would be, this is your active voice. An active voice simply means that the doer, or we say the person who did the action, is presented right in front. All right. So for example, I ate. So I can say I ate bread, I ate rice, I ate noodles. Okay. So the sentence work like this. The second sentence is what we call a passive voice. A passive voice is whereby the doer sometimes is not mentioned, and is definitely not mentioned in front. So in this case, I was eaten. It actually meant that maybe there's a monster or there was a giant who came and eat me. I got eaten, right? I became the food of somebody and maybe a monster. All right. So when that was the case, we call this a passive voice in English. Okay. So why is there such a difference? Just going to highlight and tell you why sometimes the sentence are like that. We want to emphasize the object receiving the action. So for example, they selected Scarlett as the winner of the car. Okay, so this is active. But the second sentence, Scarlett was selected to win the new car. This is passive. So there are people who are selecting winner if they are placed at the front. So the doer, the person who did this action, selecting the winner, right? Okay, is placed at the front. We call it active. But the second one, okay, Scarlett was selected. It's like we do not know who selected her, but she got selected. So that's passive. So a few more, okay? I'll give you a few more. Sometimes, why do we do that? We want to emphasize the action instead of the person who does the action. So here, the first sentence is active. Somebody broke someone's computer. I broke your computer. So the person who is doing it is right in front, stated, I broke. So this is very clear. The action is being done by I, being done by me in this case, in this sentence. The second sentence is passive because we do not know who is the person who did it. We only know that the computer was broken. Your computer, if you want it to be clearer, we can even put was broken. Okay, was broken. All right, next one. Sometimes we want to be discreet. That's why we don't want to say who is the person who do it. Okay? We want to be discreet. We want to be tactful. The keys are missing again. All right. So in this case, the key are missing. This is definitely passive. That means the keys are being misplaced by someone. But the second sentence, what did you do with my keys, will be very direct. Okay. There's a naming of somebody and so on. So that's an active voice. Give you a few more examples. Okay, sometimes we will use passive voice because the person who do it is unknown. So we do not know. Okay, that's why we will use a passive voice. So the first sentence, someone broke into her house last night. This is active because someone really broke into her house, but it's just that we do not know who is that someone. So instead of saying someone broke into her house, we can use a passive voice to call it her house was broken into last night. So that will be a passive voice. Next one is again when the person who did it is, it's not just unknown, but also is very complicated. So for example, oil prices will rise and drop due to many factors, right? Due to many factors in the economy. So we will just have to state gas prices were raised again last week. So this is a passive voice. We do not know who raised it because there are so many other factors, okay? It's very complicated to know. So in this way, we will also use a passive voice. Lastly, this example is just to show sometimes you want to rephrase, you want to paraphrase, or when you go to higher level, you don't want to just copy everything. Maybe you want to rewrite. So this one, the first one says, her dog ate her pizza. That's an active voice. The dog is the agent, the person who does it, the animal who ate the pizza is written right in front, so it's active voice. Whereas if you write it this way, if you write her pizza was eaten, or you just rephrase it, her meal was eaten, this is a passive voice. Okay, so the main idea here is an active voice will always have the doer, the person who did the action, stated right in front. Whereas if in a passive voice, we won't have that. Okay, it will be mentioned at the back of the sentence. So these are some rules to write in a passive voice manner. Usually we will add be in the same tense. So this be will be words like is, are, was, will. Okay, you have to add in this. And also we will have to use past participle. What is past participle? Later on, I will have a list to show you. Okay. So in this case, if I were to quickly go through what is past participle, eat is like your most base form, simple present tense. Ate is your past tense, right? And the lastly, eaten will be your past participle form in terms of tenses in English, okay? All right. So let's continue from there. So there are two additional rules. So if you are trying to write a sentence that is continuous tense, so the be, you have to change it to being. So for example, more homes are being built this year. So this is your past participle, built, and this is the be that you add in. Next one, if it's about perfect tense, you will have to then use words like have or has. Okay, so in this case, give, have been given out already. My sister should have been told about the party. All right. So I shall give you more example of passive voice. So over here, in these columns, they are all active voice. I walk the dog. So now we want to know how to change it to passive voice. It will be the dogs are walked every day. So you can put in I if you want. That's optional. The dogs are walked by me every day. That's fine. But sometimes we can leave out the person who do the action. Okay. Millions of people watch the Super Bowl. Okay, so this is active voice. Now we want to mention this Super Bowl, maybe it's a bowling competition, I'm not sure, is being watched by millions of people. So the Super Bowl is watched by millions of people. So as you can see, we add in is and are, and we also change the tense to past participle. Okay. Lastly, people write many letters to the president. All right. So people are the one who write it. So what is being written? Letters. Okay. Letters are being written, right? So to change it to passive, we will have it. Many letters are written. So we add in, okay, are written, and then we use the past participle. Okay. There are quite a lot of examples so that you understand it. So I will get student to help me read this out now. Okay, it's just reading. I will read the active voice. Maybe I'll have someone else to help me read the passive voice. Tarushi, will you be able to help me with this page? Okay, Tarushi, you ready? Teacher Suting will read the active voice. You help me to read the passive when it's shown, okay? Tarushi, you are there? Or maybe I get another volunteer. Ruwangi, can you help me with that? I will read this and you will read the passive voice. So I will read, I am walking the dog. Ruwangi, can you help me with this? Read it out loud.
The dogs are being worked.
Yes, the dogs are being walked. Good. Okay, we will continue, okay? I will read the active, you read the passive, okay? Millions of people are watching the Super Bowl. Ruwangi again.
The Super Bowl is being watched by millions of people.
Yes, thank you. So we notice that, hey, we add in the word being, okay? Because this is the continuous tense. The Super Bowl is being watched. Okay. Lastly, many people are writing many letters to the president. Ruwangi again.
Many letters are being written
Written. Okay.
to the president.
Thank you very much. Well done. Okay, let's go on to simple past. Okay, let's get another volunteer to help us read aloud for everyone. Sashi, would you be able to help, please? Sashi? I'll read the active, you read the passive voice, okay? I walked the dog. Sashi?
The dogs were walked.
Thank you. Millions of people watched the Super Bowl. Sashi?
The Super Bowl was watched by millions of people.
Okay. People wrote many letters to the president. Sashi again?
Many letters were written to the president.
Thank you. So I hope you all are able to get more ideas of what I meant. Let's go on to present perfect tense, okay? Any volunteer or you want me to just name you to do it for us? Buhyumi, would you be able to help me for this? All right.
Okay, teacher.
I will read the active, you will read the passive voice, okay? I've walked the dogs already. Your turn.
The dogs have been walked already.
Thank you very much. So as you can see, we need to make sure that our tense match. Previously, we talked about tenses also. So dogs, you got to use have. And you got to add in the word been again, okay? The dogs have been walked already. Next one, millions of people have watched the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl has been watched by millions of people.
Very good. So in this case, Super Bowl is just one, maybe one competition. So we use has been watched. Lastly, people have written many letters to the president.
Many letters have been written to the president.
Thank you, Bu Hyumi. All right. So lastly, even when we have modals is like words like should, would, and so on, all right? We also have to change them. So let's get, maybe Suwani help me to do the passive voice now, okay? I should walk the dogs every day. Suwani, could you help?
The dogs should be walked every day.
Thank you. All right, next one. More people should have watched the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl should have been watched by more people.
Okay, good. Lastly, people should write letters to the president.
Letters should be written to the president.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so as you can see just now, we are just trying to understand what is active and passive first. Let's put into practice. I will show a piece of a sentence. You tell me whether that is active or passive. To get everyone to participate, maybe we will use the chat again, all right? Let's use the chat. You will enter either A or P. A stands for active, P stands for passive. Okay, see whether you understood what is active voice and passive voice. Okay, let's write, okay? Number one. So can I have you to put number one only? Okay, you tell me whether this is active or passive. The suspect was hunted by the police. So everyone in group chat, yeah, some of you key in the answer already. You put number one, passive. Some of you put passive. Everyone agree? Or the rest are still thinking? Buhyumi and Suwani quite fast. Good. Okay, I'll show the... Good, good. Okay, some of you, if you have difficulty on that, right? It's okay, all right? We will go through it together too. The first one is passive. You're right. Because the suspect was hunted by the police. So who is the one hunting the suspect? It should be the police, right? If it is active, we would say the police is hunting the suspect. So in this case, this is a passive voice. Let's do number two now. Everyone, number two, I'll read the sentence. You type in your option. Try it out, okay? You write A or you write P. The important battle was fought in 1814. So is it passive or is it active? Okay, good. Ruwangi, I could see your answer, your number two and your options. So some of you are still thinking the important battle was fought. Okay, so in this case, this is also passive because the passive voice, okay, so think about it. So there was a battle. So maybe soldier or some people or the men were fighting it, right? So if it is active, we will say something like the soldier fought in the important battle, something like that, right? So in this case, number two is also passive. Now number three, okay, listen to number three, yeah? The soft grass cushioned my fall. Oh, is it hard to understand? The soft grass cushion my fall. So cushion means, soften your fall. Okay. Let's see. Some student put down already. All right. And the answer is active. Okay. Those of you who are typing in, you are on the right track. Yes, because the soft grass is doing the action, right? Softening somebody's fall. So the soft grass is the doer, a bit like the action, although it's not doing anything, but it cushions somebody's fall. So that's active. Very good. Next one, number 4. That mango smoothie was made by our new employee. Is this active or is this passive? Number 4. Good. Okay, most of you understood it now. Huh? Yes, it is passive. Next one, number 5. Let's go to number 5 now. A car ran over my cat. Is this an active voice or is this passive? Number 5. Okay, good. Most of you got the concept because the car is the action, right? Doing that action of running over the cat. So that's active. Very good. Number 6. The comedian. Comedian is someone who says a lot of jokes. Okay. The comedian shows reduce us to laughter. So the comedian shows, okay, that's the action, the show reduce us to laughter. So this was a mix. Somebody, some of us could not decide, is this active or is this passive? It should be active because it's the show that makes them laugh, right? Reduce us to laughter. So it is an active voice. Good try for all of you who try. It's fine, okay? Even if you make a mistake, let's learn from it. Let's continue. 7. A number of textbooks had been stolen. Active or passive, number 7? Type it in now. Just see your response. Question 7. A number of textbooks had been stolen, okay, by thieves. Okay, good. Yes, it is passive, right? The answer was shown. It is passive because we mentioned the textbook being stolen. So some of the words that could help you is words like this. Words like bin to give you the clue. Next one, number 8. The fire burned the house to the ground. Oh, I accidentally pressed it already. So number 8 is active, right? Because the fire is the one that burns the house down, right? That was quite direct. Number 9, the waitress has stolen John's baby. Oh, some of you, you just see the word has and you think it is passive. So who is the one who stole the baby? Is it very directly, is it directly mentioned already? Number 9 should actually be active because you see, this is the person who did the stealing. This is like the doer, the person who did it, right? The person is already mentioned right at the beginning. So this is an active voice. I know some of you, maybe you have seen the word stolen. You see a participle here, then you write it as a passive, but no, in this case, this is active. If it is passive, it will look like this. It will sound like this. John's baby was stolen by the waitress. Then it will become passive, okay? Number 10. Everyone is given presents at the party. Number 10, is it active or is it passive? Okay. Everyone is given present at the party. The rest are still figuring out. Everyone is given. So do we know who gave the present? They didn't say so, right? They didn't say who gives the present to everyone at the party. So I'm not sure why the rest didn't dare to try. Is it because when you all make mistake, you start to hold back? It's okay, all right. Just give it a try. It should be passive. Suwani is correct. Everyone is given present at the party because we do not know who gave out the present. Everyone is given. That means somebody must have given out the present, right? But we just do not know who. So it is a passive sentence. Next one, 11. You must have been stressed out by the midterm. midterm maybe is like an exam. You must have been stressed out by the midterm. Is this active or is this passive? Okay. Now I have more of you trying again. That's great. Right. Yep. You're right, because Sashi and Suwani who has tried, you are correct. It's passive because midterm is like the culprit, right? Who stress you out. Okay. So if it is active, it will look something like that. Midterm has stressed you out. Something like this. Stress you out. Okay. If I want to make it active, it will be like I will put whatever is the, the person, the agent, the cause of the action, right, at the front. Midterm has stressed you out, then it will become active. Okay, so at this point, the second part we will leave to next week. Okay, but at this point just now we have come across the word participle, just a very quick listing of the words. All right. These are given to your teachers. Maybe if you want, you can actually copy down from them, or you can ask your teacher whether you all can. I think you will have to copy it down, right? So I want to give you some example. You see, in some cases, present tense, past tense, and participles, they are all the same, like cut, cut, cut. Sometimes the past tense and the past participle are the same. They just look like past tense. For example, dig, dug, dug. Sometimes the simple present, the simple past, and the past participle are all different, like this one. Do, did, done. Or even this one, draw, drew, drawn. Okay, this is also quite common. Drive, drove, driven. Okay, so there are a whole list of all these words. Until next week, we will continue. But at this moment, if you would like to, and there's a chance, if there's a chance for you all to have access to this, maybe you can start writing down some of the common, simple present, simple past, and past participle. Okay, one very common is the I, A, and U. Let me give you, I see whether there is sing, or this one, sink. This is a very common pattern also, whereby they have letter I, sink. Then the past tense is ank, sank. And the past participle will be with a U, sunk. So this is another common pattern when they have the simple present, simple past, and past participle. So I think there are about 4 or 5 pages. So if you want to, for example, the last one, again, a common pattern is write, wrote, written. Okay, this is another common way of doing the spelling for the different tenses. So we will continue next week. But what we have learned just now, very quickly, a quick recap will be in active voice. Okay, if we just go to right at the start. Okay, let's cut this. Right at the start, the active voice will be this, whereby the doer is right in front doing the action. I ate. The passive voice will be telling us that something in this case was eaten. Okay, in this case, the something was eaten was I. I was eaten, okay, by maybe a monster, by someone else. Okay, so that's a passive voice. That's just a quick summary for today. And usually, yes, usually when we have passive voice, we need to have a participle, past participle. Okay, so that's the main pattern of active voice and passive voice. All right, that was quite a lot to understand. Any question? we are going to end. Any question? No?
No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you for being in class.
Very clear, ma'am.
All
Today,
right.
I when you
Okay.
when
All
you
right.
when you teach, ma'am, I have imagined about active voice and passive voice like that.
Okay. That's
uh,
wonderful.
Subject is a king of the active voice sentence, and the object is employed or a servant. I have imagined that when you teach about active voice and passive voice. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh,
Thank
thank you. So you were talking about it's easier if I say the subject is right in front. Is that what you are saying? All right. Good to know that. Good to know that. Okay. Maybe we will continue next week so that we can have more examples of this. Thank you for your feedback. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank
Thank-
you.
Thank
Grade
you.
8 to
Thank you,
9.
teacher.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you,
See
teacher.
you next
Goodbye.
week. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. See
Thank
you
you,
all next week.
Suking.
Bye.
Bye. See you. Thank you. Hello, Rick.
Hi, Jamie.
Okay.
Hello.
Venerable. Hi. Venerable is not available now. Okay. So I think it's already 4 minutes past 6.